Hey everyone, so we're going to do a quick review of solving proportions. And remember, when you solve proportions, I'm going to show you the long way and the short way. Technically, we use cross products, so multiply 1.2 times 5, and that gives you 6 on one side. And then multiply across that way, 2 times x is 2x. And then that gets rid of the fractions, and you have an equation that you need to solve. And then we have 2 times x on one side. Then we divide both sides by 2. And then we're left with x equals 3. So that's the long way. I'm going to do number 4 like that also. And then I'm going to show you guys or remind you the shortcut that I like using. Remember, whenever there's a negative, what I like to do is just take that negative and put it in the top. Some students are confused because in the books and in the worksheets, the negative is right in the middle of the fraction, and they're not sure, does it go on top, does it go on the bottom, does it go on both. Just take it and move it to the top. Okay. So now when I do my cross products, I multiply 8 times negative n, that gives me a negative 8n, and then 12 times negative 6, that's negative 72. My variables over here, I have negative 8 times n, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. Bring down my equal sign, so that's 9, and that is m. So m equals 9 here. Okay. Now the shortcut, when I do the shortcut, it's a little bit different. The shortcut just says, take the two numbers that are across from each other, kind of like we're going to cross multiply. But multiply these two, and then you divide by whatever number is on the outside. Okay. So watch, when I do that, I'm going to show you guys on my calculator. When I do that, I get 2 times 28, and then that's 56 divided by 8. And that's your answer, x equals 7. The long method still works, but this is obviously works a lot faster and is a shortcut. So take this way. Or number 3, I'm actually going to multiply in this direction. Now wherever the variable is, that determines which way you multiply. You want to definitely cross multiply where there's two numbers. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 24, and then the number that's on the outside, you divide it by that number. So when I multiply these, I go 3 times 24, you get 72, and then 72 divided by 10. So that's 7.2. Okay. Now these kind of look like a proportion, and we actually can make it look just like a proportion simply by just putting a 1 under it. Remember, a proportion is just two equal ratios. This is a ratio, this is a ratio, they're equal. Now it's a proportion. And I can solve it the way I solved these two. There's my letter, so I need to cross multiply in this direction, and I'm going to divide by this number. Okay. So 1 times 26, technically I don't need to do that because I know it's just 26. Then I have 26 divided by 2.413. I'm going to round that to the 10th place, and that is x equals 10.8. If you would have left it as 10.7, you would get away with that answer in the test, but kind of get into the use of rounding correctly. Okay. So let's move on to the next one, number 6. Number 6 looks like this. Again, here's the variable, so we're going to cross multiply in this direction and then divide by this number out here. So again, we have 1 times 50, well that's just 50, but then we're going to divide 50 by 0.4545. So there we get x equals 110. And 0.0, you don't need to put the 0.0. I'm going to put it anyway, since all my other answers are one place. over, or to the tens place. So that is the first 6.